Hey everybody, and welcome back to my weekly reading vlog. It is now 11:15 at night, way past my bedtime, on Tuesday. So yes, I am getting a very late start to this reading vlog, mostly because I didn't really read the first 2 days of this week. So, Sunday was my makeup Mother's Day that I had, and it was great. And I thought I was going to read, and I didn't because I actually went to the nursery to pick up plants for my garden, like vegetables and herbs and things, which was awesome. Definitely a great way to spend the day. And then when I came home, I ended up planting about half of the plants. So that was the majority of my day. And then yesterday, I thought I was going to be able to read a lot more. And then I got Animal Crossing, which I've played before, but this one was my own island. And so I had some things that I needed to do. So I ended up spending quite a bit of time playing Animal Crossing. So I just didn't read. So then I got to today, and I did actually read today, which is also part of why I needed to start this reading vlog so that I could actually update you. But the first thing that I read was I did read one of the stories in this book of Wars and Memories in Starlight by Aliette Bodard. It's a collection of short stories that is set in the Shuya universe for the most part. Some of them, I guess, are not. But I did read one more story in this, and I really enjoyed it. It's called The Jaguar House in Shadow, and it was good. It was really interesting. I'm loving finding out more about this world. However, I found that it was taking a lot more attention and focus than I really had today. Like today has just been all over the place, honestly. And so instead of continuing this book, when I felt the urge to read, I did go ahead and pick up a different one, and that is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. This is an adult romance, and our two leads are the two leads of essentially a telenovela. They're working together on set. And it's very interesting. I actually really like this because I like that there's chemistry between these two leads, but there's believable reasons that are like keeping them from pursuing a relationship. Especially since they're like both the leads on this telenovela, like they don't want to screw it up, right? And that makes total sense. And there's other things that are like, you know, keeping them from pursuing it, but they are obviously very attracted to each other. It's been very enjoyable. It's honestly been partially enjoyable to me personally because I where I currently live, I don't have as much of a Hispanic influence around here, but I grew up with it and I have definitely missed it. And this has given me all the feels of my hometown. Even though it's set in New York. Like I'm not a New York person. like, but having that Hispanic and especially Puerto Rico culture it's been given me all the hometown vibes. So that's been great. It's been really interesting because there is a lot of Spanish in this book. There is a lot of contextual clues. However, I have had to look up a couple of phrases because my Spanish is a little rusty. And I wasn't expecting that, but I'm finding that I don't have any problems. I just have my translator at the ready. But so far, I am halfway into this book and I'm just really enjoying it. I don't think I think that it's one of those books where at this point it's nothing super amazingly well written, but it's definitely interesting and it's different and I'm enjoying the ride. So it's been really great. Obviously, I'm already halfway in, even though I started it today. So it's a quick and easy read. I'm expecting I'll probably finish it tomorrow, maybe the day after. We'll see how it goes. But I am definitely enjoying what I've been reading. But that is all I have for this update, you guys. So until next time, bye. Hey, everybody. It's now Saturday night. It's almost 10:30 because apparently I'm just going to continue to have late night updates. But I obviously, since it's Saturday, I needed to wrap up this reading vlog. And we are doing a different lighting situation in the hopes that this works out better. I don't know. We shall see. But I meant to update you guys yesterday, but then I had a headache. So I did, like, the correct self-care thing and went to sleep. So now I have a bunch to update you on. So now we just have to run through it. First up, I actually finished You Had Me at Hola by Alexis, Daria, and overall I really, really liked this. This was just generally a good book. This is definitely more of a serious romance than like a light, fluffy kind of read, but I think that it was well executed. I really liked that it was set on the telenovela set. I liked how that was integrated into the book itself. I liked how the Spanish was integrated. I like that our two leads definitely have their own issues that they are working through. And I do like the inclusion at the end in the epilogue that they are like, it is actively said that they are both in therapy for their things. I think that that's a really great addition. And I just generally think that this overall worked really well as a novel. The only thing that I had some issue with was the ending. So they had their big blowout fight, and Jasmine at the end was just like, I was so mean. I said some vicious things. And I was like, no, you didn't. You said some very truthful things. And you didn't pull your punches. And you probably could have been a little bit more diplomatic about it. But you weren't mean. You just said the things that needed to be said. So I don't really see what the problem is. And so, like, I had some issue with that. But then once she understood why Ashton was acting the way he was, she just kind of instantly like got over her anger and forgave him. And I was just like, wait. Like, you can actually understand why somebody is doing something, and you can even agree with their actions. You can even think like, in that situation I would act the same way, and you can still be mad at them for putting you in the position that they put you in. Those things can all exist at the same time. And so it didn't feel quite right to me that she forgave him so easily and got over that anger so easily. So I think that was the one like kind of stumbling block in this book. But other than that, I think it was very well executed. As a romance, this is definitely a steamy romance. Now, they don't jump into bed right away, which is appropriate for the story that's being told. But once it happens, there is a decent amount of sex, and like I said, it is very steamy. But it doesn't take away from the overall storyline, which is excellent. That has definitely been a problem with some of the steamy romances that I've read. It's just like once there's sex, there's like nothing but sex, and that was not this book's. So I do think that was very well executed. And overall, I just really enjoyed this book, and I ended up giving it 4.25 stars. And so then today, I decided to go ahead and pick up Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. And this is a young adult book, genre somewhat undetermined. We'll talk about it. But essentially, in this particular book, it posits that a world where the Library of Alexandria never burned, and instead is now the repository for all books. And actually, the private ownership of books is illegal. And so, enter our main character of Jess, whose family works. Their primary business is as black market book book dealers, and Jess works for them as a runner, getting the books from the warehouse to the buyers until he turns 16, and then his dad tells him that he is being sent to take the examinations to try to get into the library as a new recruit kind of thing. And that he is expected to pass the tests and then get into the library and become basically a spy for the family. And the story goes from there. Now, this is kind of, so let's talk about the genre thing. So this is set in the year 2025. So like science fiction, right? But also it's alternate history because obviously the Library of Alexandria didn't burn. And also it's maybe fantasy because there seemed to be some stuff in here that pointed to possible magic, or it might just be extremely advanced technology, in which case we're back to science fiction. But that's also very strange because there's a lot of technology that is not in place. Like we're still using steam powered carriages and steam powered trains. So it feels very steampunky. It's just like, honestly, like it just didn't quite meld together into a whole. And so I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what genre to include this in because it seemed like it could be a lot of different ones. Now I ended up DNFing this. So sorry, I should have said that sooner. But I ended up DNFing this at page 48, partially because that weird mix of genre stuff didn't really work for me, but also because the first chapter is Jess when he is 10, and there is content warnings for child abuse. And I was not expecting that, did not appreciate that. Jess as a character at this point is very bland, but again, only 48 pages in, so maybe he gets better later. But also this is looking like it might be like the Library of Alexandria might be a stand-in for the Catholic Church. There's definitely some parallels there. And all of this I was looking at it and I'm just like, I'm just not that interested in this. It's just not drawing me in. Now, some of it was really interesting and could have been really cool. Like, I like the idea of the Library of Alexandria not burning and what would that look like. And even the fact that they suppress knowledge, so it becomes very clear. We see some documentation stuff from the library's perspective, from like Johannes Gutenberg about his invention of the printing press, and they decide to suppress that technology. Like, it's very interesting, and it just didn't really quite work for me. So I'm a little bit sad, but it didn't do it for me, so I DNF'd it at 48. And then, updating you on Of Wars and Memories and Starlight by Aliette de Bodard, I read 2 more stories, and they were good. The first one was, let me double check the name. Oh my goodness. It was Scattered Along the River of Heaven. And that's a short story where I'm definitely not the intended audience. So I didn't really connect with it, but I could definitely see how a lot of people really would connect very deeply with that story. And it was still very good. And then the second story that I read was Immersion, and it was delightful. I really, really liked that one. So I am still very much enjoying what I am reading. I know I'm not telling you a ton of description for these short stories, but with short stories, it's really difficult to, without like giving away everything. But also, especially these particular short stories, the way that they're written, it's just like, I can't talk about it without it being just completely spoiler territory. So, but I am very much enjoying my time with this. I'm now on page 95. So not as far as I was kind of expecting to be, but I am at least making good progress. And then the next book that I will pick up, I haven't even started, but next week I will be reading The Empire of Dreams by Ray Carson. This is the 4th book in the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy, which, yes, I know. It's, but it's like, you know, it was released last year, so very much like after the original trilogy was published. And this is following Red Sparkle Stone, which is one of the characters in the original trilogy. And she is all set to be adopted by the Empress, but it gets blocked at court. And so she decides to prove herself by becoming a royal guard. But as she is in her training, she realizes that this plot against the Empress runs very deep. And so she's got to figure out how to kind of deal with that as well as survive her recruitment year for the Royal Guard. And the story goes from there. And I haven't even started this, but I am equal parts very excited and also very cautious because obviously, like, revisiting an original trilogy has not necessarily gone well for everybody. I'm looking at you, Suzanne Collins. I'm looking at you, Stephanie Meyer. But I do think that generally Ray Carson tends to be a pretty good writer, so it might work out just fine. And I am very much interested in the story itself, so we shall see how it goes. But that's it. That's my reading update. I haven't been reading nearly as much as I generally do, partially because it's May. And so spring has sprung, and I have lots of things that I am doing out in our yard, which I very much appreciate. I do enjoy doing that, and like planting a garden and doing all the things. I love having a garden, you guys, even though like I don't have a green thumb, and it's always like a toss up how much produce we're actually going to be able to eat from the garden, but I really do enjoy doing it. So I have to remember next year that May is just, that's when spring happens. And so I should not plan on reading as much as I normally do. Like that, hopefully I will remember that next year. But that's why I haven't been reading as much, is just that I am going outside and like enjoying being outside and working outside a lot more. So there you go. I do expect, however, next week I will try to finish reading The Empire of Dreams as well as finish up Of Wars and Memories and Starlight. That is my main focus, but we shall see how it goes. But that is all I have for you. So comment down below. Let me know what you've been reading this week, and if you have any thoughts about the things that I read or DNF'd. But that is all I have. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!